The AFC North is more than just a division in the NFL. It's a battlefield steeped in history, passion, and unrelenting competition. Known for its gritty, hard-hitting style of football, this division is home to some of the league's most iconic and fierce rivalries, where every game feels like a playoff clash. Whether it's the Steelers and Ravens waging war in defensive slugfests, the Browns seeking redemption against old foes, or the Bengals emerging as a modern powerhouse, the AFC North's rivalries are fueled by decades of animosity, pride, and a deep connection to the blue-collar cities these teams represent. To understand the soul of the AFC North is to dive into its storied rivalries, where every hit, every win, and every loss adds fuel to the fire. The rivalry between the Cleveland Browns and Pittsburgh Steelers, often referred to as the Turnpike Rivalry, is one of the oldest and most storied in the NFL. Dating back to 1950, the Steelers currently dominate the series, leading the all-time record of 82 wins, 64 losses, and 1 tie, which reflects the Browns' long struggles against their Pennsylvania neighbors. Despite this lopsided record, the intensity of the rivalry remains high, fueled by geographic proximity, divisional stakes, and decades of shared history. The Browns were the dominant force in the early years of the rivalry, regularly defeating the Steelers through the 1950s and 1960s. However, the tables turned in the 1970s when the Steelers rose to prominence under head coach Chuck Noll and their steel curtain defense. From that era onward, Pittsburgh consistently overshadowed Cleveland, both in the rivalry and in overall success. The rivalry has produced memorable games, such as the Browns' stunning 51-0 victory in 1989, which remains the largest margin of victory in series history. More recently, in the 2020 AFC wildcard game, the Browns shocked the Steelers with a 48-37 victory, ending an 18-year playoff drought and securing a rare postseason win in Pittsburgh. The animosity in this rivalry stems from cultural and geographical factors. Cleveland, known for its blue-collar roots and underdog spirit, often sees itself in opposition to Pittsburgh's industrial success and football dominance. Fans on both sides take pride in the identity their teams represent, with games often feeling like a battle for regional bragging rights. Despite the Browns' struggles, the rivalry remains deeply personal for both teams and their fan bases. The rivalry between the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals has grown in intensity in recent years, fueled by playoff implications and the emergence of young stars like Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. The Ravens hold a narrow lead in the all-time series 31-26 as of 2024, but the Bengals have delivered significant wins that have shaped the rivalry. One of the most dramatic moments came in 2017's Week 17 game, when the Bengals' Andy Dalton threw a last-minute touchdown pass to eliminate the Ravens from playoff contention, sending shockwaves through the league. More recently, the Bengals' 41-17 victory in 2021 showcased their rise as a divisional powerhouse, with Burrow delivering a dominant performance. This rivalry is fueled by the contrasting styles of the two teams. The Ravens' defensive prowess clashes with the Bengals' high-octane offense, making their games both unpredictable and thrilling. With both teams frequently competing for playoff spots, Ravens-Bengals matchups have become must-watch events. The Ravens-Steelers rivalry is considered one of the most intense and physical matchups in NFL history. Since the Ravens' inception in 1996, the series has been nearly even, with the Steelers leading the all-time record 34-25 as of 2024. These games are notorious for their hard-hitting style, defensive battles, and frequent playoff implications. The rivalry gained prominence in the early 2000s, when both teams became perennial contenders, frequently clashing in high-stakes games. One of the defining moments came in the 2008 AFC Championship game, where the Steelers defeated the Ravens 23-14 to advance to the Super Bowl. The game epitomized the rivalry's brutal nature, with ferocious hits and defensive dominance. Another unforgettable chapter occurred in 2010's divisional playoff game, where the Steelers overcame a 21-7 halftime deficit to win 31-24 in a game defined by turnovers and momentum swings. The heated nature of this rivalry stems from the similarities between the two teams. Both are built on strong defenses, physical play, and passionate fan bases. The matchup has become a symbolic clash of AFC North toughness, where every yard gained feels like a victory. The mutual respect between the franchises is matched only by the animosity felt during their matchups, making Ravens-Steelers one of the NFL's marquee rivalries. The Battle of Ohio between the Cincinnati Bengals and Cleveland Browns is steeped in regional pride and shared history, with both franchises founded by Paul Brown. The Bengals lead the all-time all-time series 54-48 as of 2024, but the rivalry remains fiercely competitive. One of the most memorable games occurred in 2007, a 51-45 shootout that saw both teams light up the scoreboard in a thrilling display of offense. More recently, the Browns' sweep of the Bengals in the 2020 season, led by standout performances from Mayfield and Nick Chubb, reignited tensions in the rivalry. The intensity of this rivalry comes from its deeply personal nature. Ohio pride is on the line in every matchup, with fans from both cities eager to claim superiority. The shared history and divisional stakes ensure that every game between the Bengals and Browns carries an extra layer of emotion and significance. The Bengals-Steelers rivalry is one of the most heated in the AFC North, marked by physicality, personal animosity, and playoff drama. The Steelers lead the all-time series 71-39, but the Bengals have delivered key victories that have added spice to this contentious matchup. One of the rivalry's most infamous moments came during the 2015 AFC wildcard game, where chaos reigned in a game marred by penalties, personal fouls, and controversial officiating. The Bengals appeared poised to secure a rare playoff victory, but a late fumble by Jeremy Hill and costly penalties by Vontaze Burfict and Adam Jones handed the Steelers an 18-16 win. The game became symbolic of the animosity between the teams, with hits and skirmishes spilling over from the field to the headlines. This rivalry's intensity is fueled by proximity and divisional stakes, but the bad blood between players, particularly during the Burfict era, elevated the tension to a boiling point. Even as rosters evolve, the Bengals-Steelers games remain emotionally charged, with fans and players alike bringing extra energy to the matchup. The rivalry between the Cleveland Browns and Baltimore Ravens is one of the NFL's most personal, stemming from the Ravens' controversial relocation from Cleveland in 1996. The Ravens lead the all-time series 36-13 as of 2024, reflecting Baltimore's consistent dominance since its formation. For Browns fans, the rivalry is about more than football. It's about betrayal. The Browns' move to Baltimore left a scar on Cleveland's football identity, and every matchup against the Ravens serves as a reminder of what was lost. Despite Baltimore's dominance, the Browns have delivered memorable victories, such as their 40-25 upset in 2019, which showcased Cleveland's potential under quarterback Baker Mayfield. The animosity in this rivalry is rooted in history, but the games themselves often reflect the grit of AFC North football. Baltimore's hard-nosed defense has historically stymied Cleveland, but the Browns' quest to reclaim their identity and challenge the Ravens keeps this matchup meaningful. The rivalries within the AFC North are among the most intense and physical in the NFL, defined not only by their competitive stakes, but also by the brutal nature of the games themselves. These matchups, Browns versus Steelers, Ravens versus Bengals, Bengals versus Browns, and the others, are characterized by ferocious hits, emotional outbursts, and a style of play that often leaves players battered and bruised. Injuries have been a grim hallmark of these rivalries, adding another layer of intensity and animosity that keeps fans and players deeply invested. The AFC North is known for its blue-collar ethos, a reflection of the industrial cities that these teams represent. This identity translates directly onto the field, where games are often slugfests defined by hard hits and relentless physicality. It's not uncommon for AFC North games to result in serious injuries, further intensifying the rivalries. Defensive battles are a staple of the division, and players take pride in delivering punishing blows that can alter the course of a game, or even a season. One of the most infamous injury-related incidents occurred in the rivalry between the Bengals and Steelers during a 2015 AFC wildcard game. Bengals linebacker Vontaze Burfict delivered a devastating and controversial hit to Steelers wide receiver Antonio Brown, knocking him out with a concussion. This hit not only impacted that game, but also fueled a years-long feud between the teams, with retaliatory actions and escalating tension in subsequent matchups. Burfict himself became a lightning rod for criticism and animosity, epitomizing the raw aggression that often defines these rivalries. The Ravens-Steelers rivalry, widely regarded as one of the fiercest in NFL history, has seen its share of devastating injuries as well. These games are often defensive masterclasses, with bone-crushing tackles and brutal collisions in the trenches. Players like Ray Lewis, James Harrison, Ed Reed, and Troy Polamalu defined this rivalry with their ferocity. One notable injury occurred in 2010 when Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger suffered a broken nose on a hit from Ravens defensive lineman Haloti Ngata. The play, which wasn't flagged, exemplified the no-holds-barred nature of these games, where players push the boundaries of physicality in pursuit of victory. Even the Battle of Ohio between the Browns and Bengals, often viewed as the lesser of the AFC North rivalries, has seen its share of brutal encounters. These games often have an extra edge due to Ohio pride and regional bragging rights, and players frequently elevate their intensity to match the emotions of the fan bases. High-impact plays and physical altercations are commonplace, underscoring the unyielding nature of the division. The intensity of the AFC North rivalries stems from a combination of historical, geographical, and cultural factors. The close proximity of the teams plays a significant role, fostering natural animosity among fan bases. The division's cities, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Baltimore, are all within a few hundred miles of each other, making these matchups feel personal. Fans often interact in their daily lives, adding fuel to the fire through trash talk and a constant reminder of their shared rivalries. The division's identity as a gritty, blue-collar region amplifies the intensity. These cities are steeped in industrial history, and their football teams reflect that tough, hard-nosed ethos. The players and fan bases see these games as more than just contests. They're battles that embody the pride and resilience of their communities. For many fans, a victory in an AFC North rivalry game is worth more than a regular season win. It's a statement of superiority that resonates far beyond the field. Another factor driving the intensity is the consistent level of competition within the division. The AFC North has been home to some of the most successful and storied franchises in NFL history, with teams frequently contending for playoff spots and championships. High stakes elevate the importance of every matchup, turning even regular season games into playoff-like atmospheres. This competitiveness has also fostered a win-at-all-costs mentality, contributing to the physicality and, at times, the animosity on display during games. The historical context of certain rivalries also adds to their intensity. For instance, the Browns-Ravens rivalry carries deep emotional weight due to the Ravens' origins as the relocated Cleveland Browns. This shared history fuels every matchup, with Browns fans harboring resentment toward Baltimore for stealing their team. Similarly, the Bengals-Steelers rivalry has been shaped by years of playoff heartbreak and controversial plays, creating a sense of unfinished business that lingers with each new season. The passion of the AFC North fan bases is unmatched, further amplifying the intensity of these rivalries. Each team's fans are fiercely loyal and deeply involved, bringing an energy to stadiums that often feels palpable. The traditions and legacies of these teams are woven into the fabric of their respective cities, and rivalry games are viewed as defining moments of each season. Fans see their team's success in these matchups as a reflection of their city's toughness and pride, making the stakes feel higher than just wins and losses. The legacies of legendary players and coaches also play a role in keeping these rivalries heated. Icons like Ray Lewis, Paul Brown, and Mike Tomlin have left their marks on these matchups, creating a sense of history and tradition that newer players and fans are eager to uphold. Each game is an opportunity to add to the lore of these rivalries, ensuring their intensity never fades. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, cause we post videos like this several times a week and would love your support.